Hey guys, hope you're all doing good. This week's theme is a series that is close to my heart, Final Fantasy.
Oh boy!
So Final Fantasy is actually a game series that I got introduced to when I was like not really young. I was about maybe 7 or 8, and the first one I ever played was Final Fantasy 8. I had a best friend at school who absolutely fucking adored the game. He used to tell me about it all the time, and eventually he showed me around his house and he showed me the game. And I thought it was really cool. And what was funny back then was that he actually named Squall. He named it because his name was William, and he named him William. And there's like the girl he liked or something with that. He called Reno a Jenny. So when I made a game, bear in mind I was really fucking young, like I said, really young. And so I actually named my characters William and Jenny. So when I found out that the real names were Squall and whatever, like when people kept referring to them as Squall and stuff, I was like, it felt really weird for me because I always called them William and Jenny. That's just a little random story, whatever. So that was the first one I ever played. 8 was the first one I ever played. It was, again, it's like I guess it's a game that I hold pretty dear because it was like my first, in my opinion, I guess that's one of the very first serious games I ever played, you know? Like back then I was always playing like Smash Bros. And I was playing Rayman and Crash Bandicoot and all this shit. And I played that game and it just kind of like, I don't know, I guess for me it was a really mature game at the time. I remember I played Tomb Raider as well back then, but like I didn't really play that. My dad used to play it. I used to watch him play. I was kind of like too scared. It's a bit intimidating, those kind of games. But so yeah, I guess that was like my first kind of proper adult game that I played. And another thing about Final Fantasy VIII which is interesting is that when I was a kid and I beat the game, when at the end when Squall falls to the, well, it's spoilers by the way, but I'm sure it's a really old game, doesn't really matter at this point. When Squall falls to the ground and he looks up or whatever and he's like, oh shit, and he grabs a feather, and then Rinoa, like, you know, she comes to his rescue or whatever and she's holding him, and then whatever, then it ends. When I was a kid, I mean, I guess I wasn't really good. Obviously when you're a kid, you're never good looking at, like, you know, that's what I'm looking for, expressionism and stuff. So, you know, I didn't know he was alive because you didn't see his face. Obviously she gives an expression like she's happy, but I don't know, I always thought she looked kind of shocked, like sad almost. So I just assumed that he died all these years when I was a kid, right? So when I finally discovered YouTube when I was a little bit older and I wanted to watch the ending again, because I remember the ending being really cool and I didn't want to have to fight the boss again. Because that's what it was like when you were a kid, you had to fight the last boss again, you know, just to watch the ending or whatever. I used to do that a lot. There was actually a part on disc 2, I believe it is, where I actually used to have the save point there, and I loved the part when they were at the orphanage and stuff. So I remember I used to just like load that save file up and just lie in bed and just like really enjoy those scenes, and I don't even know why, but again, I was really young and I just used to love those scenes. I miss being a kid so much. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, back to my story. So I searched up the ending on YouTube and I'm watching it, and then like, it has the whole credit sequence as well. And I like the music. Like I'm playing music right now, I think. I'm pretty sure that I'll put the music in the background. And I really like the music on it. So I was like listening to the music and just watching it. And then it had the part at the end, and also the credit sequence as well with selfie with the camera. So I wanted to like watch it anyway. And then anyway, yeah, so the credits end, and then it has the scene where they're on the garden, and then Squall and Reno get off of each other, and it zooms out and stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Squall lived? Squall's alive? Oh my god, like all these years I thought he died. All these years I thought he was a dead man, like he died in like the nothingness and that was it. His life was over and he was done, but nope, he lived and all this shit. And I was like, wow, well, I'm an idiot. Loving life to the max. So that was my Final Fantasy VIII experience right there. It was a really good game. I mean, now that I'm older, I'm definitely like a lot better at it. I mean, I used to find that game like the hardest fucking game ever when I was a kid. Like, again, it's an RPG and I was really young and I didn't realize that the enemies level up with you. The junction system was just fucking weird. Like, I didn't know how it worked properly. I would always just do auto. Like, even then, I still didn't know what the hell I was doing. So, again, like, I was really bad with that kind of shit. Plus, I'd always run away from battles. Final Fantasy VII, actually, I guess I'll lead on to Final Fantasy VII now. Final Fantasy VII, I used to run away from battles a lot. So I reached a point where you go up to Mount, I forgot the fuck it's called now, Nibelheim or whatever the fuck it is, Nibelheim, and there's that weird big spider boss. Now, because I was so underleveled and I kept running away, I just kept dying, and I couldn't beat this fucking thing, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, So And then eventually I did beat it. I was like, okay, fine, I did this fucking thing. Like, it was really difficult. I finally did it after like 20 tries. So that was really difficult, and I was thinking about restarting the game and leveling up more and stuff. So anyway, the part after that, you have to use Aerith. Well, she's called Aerith in the European version. She's called Ares in the American one. It's really weird. I don't know why they're called different, but it's Aerith in the version I played anyway. And so I got Aerith, and she's at the whatever, and you're in that temple. So you have to use her. You have to use this bitch. So it's like, okay, great, brilliant. I guess I'll use her. So what ends up happening is that she's so underleveled, and so I never used her. She was stupid. I didn't like her that much. Well, okay, I liked her, but like she wasn't that good in battle, you know? She wasn't that great in combat, so I didn't really use her. And so yeah, I was screwed. There was this boss where it was like a face in the wall or some shit. You probably remember it. It's after you fight that dragon, some weird like hands in the face in a wall. I couldn't beat that boss. I just couldn't do it. I tried so many times. I couldn't fucking do it. Aerith was so underleveled. Like the enemies were kind of annoying in that area. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. So I restarted the game. I played the whole game again, but this time I had, it was Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa. So I leveled the Aerith. I keep saying Ares and going to Aerith. Ares, what the fuck her name is. The chick, alright? So I leveled Aerith up. Let's say Ares. I leveled her up loads. Like, I just didn't, every battle I tried to fight, I didn't like run away from any of them, basically. So yeah, I leveled the fuck out of her. I'll go back to that temple again. And I beat that boss. I'm like, yes, I beat that boss. Then Ares gets taken away. And I'm like, ah, shit, we gotta go save her. We go to that, like, the Forgotten City. Fucking Sephiroth jumps down, stabs her. She fucking dies. And that's a spoiler right there, but everyone knows that shit. And I couldn't believe it. I wasn't even upset she died. I was pissed. I was pissed as fuck because I restarted the whole game. I played the whole game through again to that point just because I needed Ares to level up and actually be good and stuff. And I mean, technically, ironically, and annoyingly, that boss with the head poking out with the hands, that is the last time you use her. That is the last fight she has. You don't use her again after. That's it. That's the last time you ever use her. So what the fuck? How bullshit is that? Then again, I'm kind of glad I restarted it anyway, because my first save file I ever did in that game, like, I called them all stupid shit. I called Cloud Link. I called Tifa, like, Saria. I called Ares Zelda. Like, what the fuck? What was Barrett? Barrett? What the fuck? Who was Barrett? I don't remember what the fuck Barrett was. I remember Red 13 being a Ponner. Again, I was really young. Really young. So you do stupid shit like that. And Final Fantasy 9, actually, the first one I ever played it was... No, sorry, 10 was the second one I ever played, I think. Yeah, it was. No, 10 was the second one I ever played. 8 was the first one I ever played. I didn't know they were all in, like, a big series. Then I went round, it was my mum's, like, friends, some stupid family thing. And, like, you know when you're a little kid and you hang out with, like, the older kids upstairs and they're showing you your games and you're playing games with them and stuff. He was showing me Final Fantasy X. And I played a bit of it and I thought it was really cool. I was like, this game's really cool. And the guy, I think his name was, like, Zeke or something. It was a really cool name, actually. It's quite a cool name, Zeke. And I remember he let me borrow the game. And I was like, wow, that's really nice of you, man. And so I remember I played that game. And again, I was really fucking shit at that game as well. I was crap at all RPGs when I was a kid. I kept running away from all the battles again. So basically, I got to Seymour on Mount Gagazet for that game, right? Couldn't beat him. I couldn't beat Seymour. I gave up. I tried like every night when I got home from school. I would try it every night I got home from school. I gave up. I was like, fuck this game. So, excuse me. So I never beat it. I never beat it. And like, back then, I didn't really use the internet too much back then. So like, you know, it's like Final Fantasy 7. I didn't even know Vincent and fucking Yuffie were a thing until like, you know, my dad had dial-up or something shit, and I'd go around sometimes, and then fucking, I searched it up, like a guide to get more Gil, and it had all this other stuff, like, you know, Vincent and Yuffie, and I was like, wow. So yeah, that's another little thing. Anyway, back to the topic. So I couldn't beat Seymour, so I gave up on Final Fantasy X. A few years later, I saw Final Fantasy X-2 in the shop. and I didn't know what the fuck it was, but I remember 10 being really good, and I was like, is this a sequel? Like, is this like, because I was again, I was really young, and to be honest, I wasn't the brightest kid ever, and I didn't really know Roman numerals very well, so I assumed it was 12. It was Final Fantasy 12. So I bought it, and yeah, it had Yuna and all this shit, and like, there's a character in it, a villain, he's called Shuyin, and he looks like Tidus, but because I didn't fucking beat Final Fantasy X, and I hadn't played Final Fantasy X in such a long time, I thought Shuyin was Tidus. So I didn't know Tidus fucking died, I didn't know all this shit, and I was so confused when I was playing it. I was like, what is happening and all this shit? So I eventually beat 10 too, and then I played through 10 again, and then it all made sense. I was like, oh, okay, he was a fucking dream, and then he died and all this shit. And yeah, so I beat 10 2 before 10. That's when I played 7, and then I got 9 for one. I got 9 for Christmas once. I got it for PS1, and 9 is such a good game. 9, I'm always torn when I play them. I'm always torn. I can never decide which one's my favorite. I think 10 though is always the constant, so I always say 10's my favorite. Just because I fucking love the battle system and I love all of it. I love that game so much. So yeah, I guess I'll lead on to 12. 12, like, again, that game didn't really leave an impression on me that much. Like, I liked the game. I remember playing it quite a bit. I actually remember going through a really bad breakup when I was playing that. It was my first time I actually like had a proper bad breakup. I was 16 or 15, 16, I was around that age. So that I always kind of like remember that, I guess, when I think about that game. But again, that game didn't really stand out to me too much. I mean, it was good, but I don't know. I remember the music being pretty good though. So yeah, 12, meh, in my opinion. And then there's 13. Oh yeah, 11. I never played 11. I never played 11, so. And 13, everyone was like crying about. Everyone didn't like 13 for some reason. I thought 13 was pretty good. I liked it. Like, it was linear, sure, but like, it was still a good game. I think people give it way too much shit. I thought it was good. It's not the best one, but it's a good one. 13-2. I hate the fact that Sarah just didn't have a story arc, you know? At the start, she's like useless and shit, and then I figured towards the end, you know, she'd be more strong and stuff, but no. She still has to have that fucking Knoll guy come save her and all this stuff, so it's like, wow, there's no story arc there. There's no change for her character, and it just annoyed me, and that game wasn't even that great. Sarah was annoying, Knoll was a goon, like the bad guy was just a fucking loser, so yeah, that was kind of annoying. And Lightning Returns was an abomination. That game was absolutely abysmal. I don't even want to talk about that one, that was shit. 14 I actually played, 14 was pretty good. The online game, I played it for like a month with my best mate, that was pretty fun. And 15, the demo is really good. So as for the older ones, one was, I never really played it, I played it like slightly. 2, I wasn't interested. 3, I had it on the DS, and I got pretty far on it, but I never beat it. I remember it being pretty good. 4, I played for a little bit, again, never beat that one. 5, I played briefly for like 20 minutes. 6 is the only one I haven't played. I don't know why, I just haven't played 6. I just can't really go back to the 2D, like, you know, crappy graphics. I just can't really deal with it. So that's why. And as for spin-offs, like Crystal Chronicles, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, that game is fucking amazing. I love that one. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance on Game Boy Advance, that game is amazing. What else was there? I'm sure there are a bunch. Oh, Dissidia on the PSP. That game is so good. Oh, man. So there's been a lot of good Final Fantasy games. But yeah, I just figured I'd share some of my Final Fantasy memories with you. I mean, for me, it's mostly 7, 8, 9, 10, and like pretty much 7 onwards where I have most of my memories of the ones playing and stuff. I didn't want to know, technically I've played all of them, because I mean, and I also haven't played 6, but I've played it for like 5 minutes. Like, I tried to sit down and play it once, but then like had to leave, I remember, and then I just never played it again. Like, I remember the intro, like there's some weird machines. So technically I played it for 5 minutes. I was 11, I haven't even like touched, like I haven't even played that whatsoever. But yeah, so that's all my Final Fantasy memories pretty much. Again, if I had to say out of all of them, I think 10 was my favorite. Out of all the ones that I'm fond of and I played all the way through, I'll probably say the worst one is probably what the fuck is it? Shit, 12. They actually did a DS game. Do you remember that? There's a sequel on DS for 12, which is kind of interesting. Oh fuck, I'm coming up to my 15-minute things. I can't do over 15 minutes because of because of my copyright strike. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I guess this was kind of like a podcast. I actually really enjoyed just talking to you guys. So let me know what you think about Final Fantasy in the comment section below. If you have any good memories or any good stories to tell, then yeah, leave a comment. I'm always interested in what you guys have to say. Thanks for watching and enjoy Final Fantasy Week. Have a good day, guys.